Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to Evolving with Kylie, where we grow in self-awareness, reclaim our power, and live more intentionally. Today's topic is, why do I feel so bad about myself? Why can I never feel proud of myself or good enough? Do you ever feel like no matter what you do, you just don't feel good enough? Like you're always behind, always criticizing your actions, and never truly feeling worthy? You're not alone. I have been there. And I want to break down today the real reasons behind these patterns. Number one, constant comparison. You are always comparing yourself to other people, whether it's when you're on social media or you're at work talking to friends, you're out, you're always listening in to what other people are doing and always comparing it to your journey and where you're at. I can relate to this as this was an unconscious pattern of mine that I had that I didn't recognize at the time that was throwing me in circles, continuously feeling this unworthy feeling about myself, because obviously, if you think about it, there's always going to be somebody out there that is doing better than you, because everybody is on their own individual path. And so when you are doing this, when you are comparing yourself to other people's journeys, you're almost disrespecting your own path and not acknowledging where you're at. Because the truth is, like I said, there's always going to be somebody else doing better than you. And that has nothing to do with where you're at on your journey. And sometimes this still happens to me. This old pattern way of being will present itself, but the difference now is that I'm more aware of what's happening in the moment so I can redirect my focus. This happened the other week. I don't know if I was comparing myself to somebody or feeling bad that one of my videos that I made wasn't what I expected it to be. And so I started to feel ashamed and bad. And I didn't acknowledge it until I went and sat outside and I'm feeling the feelings in my body where I'm feeling like shit. And then I was like, nope, this is an older way of being, and this is not new Kylie. Newer Kylie doesn't compare myself to other people, doesn't down myself because, or expect perfectionism, because I value where I'm at on my journey, and I respect and look back at how far I have come and where I'm at now on my journey. And that is the truth of comparing yourself to other people. It's just like this endless internal battle that you never win. It's kind of like a waste of time, and there's no point in engaging in that type of energy and dialogue within yourself, because you're only creating internal chaos. Research has stated that frequent social comparison is linked to lower self-esteem and depressive symptoms, and I can definitely relate to this because I spent a lifetime and still trying to get out of that sinking sand, that mud of comparing myself to other people. And another thing, what this does to you is it feeds the not feeling worthy enough even more. Because say you're doing something, you're going about your day or your life, and you're creating or you're doing or you're being, and then all of a sudden you're out or you're on your phone and you see somebody that's doing what you're doing, but they're like much more advanced. They have like 10 more years experience. I don't know, they're like a basketball player, or they write comics or whatever it is that you do, but they've been doing it for much longer, which used to happen to me. And in that instant moment, you just feel oh my God, like this complete weight of energy just fall over you and make you feel so bad. And then now you have decreased your state, your energy, and you're in this like you're vibing low. And like from that state, you can't create or be or do anything productive that requires you to have all that energy because now you're in this lower state. So think about doing that to yourself constantly throughout the day or just like all the time in general. What are you doing? You're just pretty much like putting yourself back down on the floor saying like you're shit, you can't do anything. Well, now I feel like shit, now I can't do anything. That was point number 1. Point number 2, why you don't feel good enough. Chronic judgment of others and yourself. I used to notice, and even about myself now, I try to be more mindful of this, is that I was always judging other people's actions and their life. And I still do to a certain point. I feel like we all do. But now more so, I try to do it in a way that is, I'm only judging because I'm trying to discern based on, oh, that person's behavior. Oh, well, am I going to do that in my life? Or like seeing the negative like effects of like somebody else's behavior on themselves will allow me to discern whether or not, oh, maybe I shouldn't be doing that because I don't want to have those effects for me. But any other overextending of this type of energy of judgment of other people, oh, number 1 says something about yourself, says that you are also very judgmental of yourself. And number 2, we have these things called mirror neurons in our body, and it's pretty much states that however you are talking to other people or about other people, your brain doesn't know any better and thinks that you are talking about yourself. So if you're criticizing and judging and downing other people, your brain doesn't know any better and thinks that you're directing this at yourself. Whether you're talking about yourself or other people, be mindful of how you're speaking and with what words and with what energy, because you are like that saying, like your tongue is as mighty as a sword. So however you're speaking about other people is being directed at you. And when these negative words and energies are being directed at us, this unconsciously and energetically creates that lower vibration within us. And then that equals us not feeling worthy or good enough. Again, this is something that I acknowledged in my own behavior over the years, was that I was very critical and judgmental of other people. And again, I'm still working on that. I'm trying to be mindful of when these old patterned thoughts like come up. And so this gossiping and nitpicking or obsessing over others' flaws actually reinforces your own insecurity. And I didn't realize this before, but yeah. So when you realize this, you're being so hard on other people, or however you treat other people, like this is what I notice, however you treat other people is exactly how you treat yourself. Starting to become aware of how you treat other people can help you see how you direct that towards yourself as well. That could be contributing to your low self-worth. Number 3, perfectionism. Apparently, perfectionism is a defense mechanism rooted in fear and self-doubt, which makes so much sense. There's no such thing as perfectionism unless we're talking about math, where there's only one true answer to a question. Perfectionism is almost like a feeling or a judgment based on somebody's own individual opinion. And perfectionism kills your creativity and blocks your growth and paralyzes your action. Yeah, because it doesn't allow you to make mistakes, because growing in life is all about learning and making those mistakes. It's unrealistic in its nature. When you start to embody this truth, which is something that I say a lot because it makes a lot of sense, is embodying new truths. Well, knowing them intellectually and then embodying them as your new way of being is really plays a huge part in changing your state and your beliefs. Perfect is a subjective illusion. Outside of math, it doesn't exist. And again, I've said this. For myself and perfectionism, we were quite close. And I used to think that it was like it was something to be prideful about, to be a perfectionist, right? And I used to pride myself in wanting to do my best in everything, but I don't think wanting to do my best in everything equates to perfectionism or is the same thing. So now what I try to do more so is, instead of, I still try to do my best all the time, but when I'm finished the product, instead of expecting perfectionism, and if there's no perfectionism, if it's not perfect, then I get hard on myself. Instead of that, what I do is acknowledge what I did do and what I did learn throughout that process of creating that, and celebrate that, and then moving forward, what am I going to do next? And acknowledging that truth that I am learning and growing. This leads us into lack of self-celebration. If all you do is focus on what's left undone, you miss out on how far you've come. That's exactly what I was just talking about. Gratitude and self-recognition fuel your motivation, not criticism. Earlier, I was talking about feeling bad about yourself, and when you're feeling low and energetically, you don't have that motivation and desire and drive to create and to be yourself and to express because you're feeling low. If we're always focusing on what's not done and what was wrong about what we did, there's gonna be no fuel there for us to move forward and continue. And when you have this pattern of reacting, or that's how you respond to the situation, then over time you're just going to feel bad about yourself all the time, because you're not celebrating your growth and how far you've come. Because when we do that, we increase our state, make us feel good because we're acknowledging the gratitude. Okay? Make sense? And so without celebration, your life just becomes a to-do list, not a lived experience. And something that has helped me or something that I realized, was that I was always being like so serious, and so serious meant that everything had to be perfect. And I was always picking out what wasn't perfect, and there was this seriousness about me, because obviously you're feeling shit, so you're like vibing low and you're more serious and not tight and resistant. Now I just try to be like, it's not that serious, Kylie. What did you like about creating this? What did you do good? So not taking yourself so seriously and just letting go. And number 5, when interacting with others, correcting instead of connecting. What I mean by this is when we're always trying to fix others or correct somebody when they're talking constantly, we end up disconnecting from real presence and real connection with that person. One thing that I've acknowledged on my own journey is that everyone lives in their own reality, as I have said before, in their own subjective experience. And there's truths and actual facts out there. But if we are sitting there and listening to somebody speak about their own experience, their own knowledge, their own facts, right? And if we if we're noticing all of these, oh, that's not a fact, and then just interrupting and correcting people, we are not allowing that person to experience their reality. And the only reason why we're correcting that person is because we have a deeper feeling of unworthiness ourselves. And before, I wasn't aware of this. And now that I'm aware of it, and now that I've started to like step back more and just let people talk, and I don't think I was as bad, but who knows? In terms of like correcting other people, I probably was to a certain extent and am still sometimes. But now I'm trying to just kind of like, let's say, for example, with my dad, talking to him about things, instead of correcting him what he's saying, I just allow him to talk and say whatever. And what I notice is that in my silence and in my presence, just listening to him, and afterwards, after I'm done talking to him, I just feel a lot better. I don't feel drained. I don't feel like I was projecting or projecting correction onto him. I'm looking at my behavior in the past now, even with other people, and I'm like, it doesn't actually matter. And coming to this realization of the fact that it doesn't matter means that I'm also starting to feel more worthy myself and not judge myself so harshly on facts or things or anything. I'm not trying to correct myself so harshly anymore either. And when I stop doing that to myself, then I stop doing that to other people, and I create more presence and acceptance for others, and at the same time for myself. And in terms of this connecting to not feeling good about yourself and not feeling worthy, it's because we were always needing to be right, always needing to know everything, and correcting other people, correcting ourselves, so highly critical and judgmental of ourselves. But when you let go of that and you just let yourself be and let yourself make mistakes, let yourself be wrong about facts, or like that you don't have to be perfect, you start to feel more safer in your body and more accepting of who you are and the fact that we all make mistakes, and it's not so much a big deal anymore. So true connection with people, right, without that constant correcting, builds self-worth. Even with yourself, when you stop correcting yourself, you build that self-worth. Judging or correcting steals from both. And so if any of these resonated with you, it doesn't mean that you're broken. It means you are human. The shift begins with your awareness. And from there, you can start relating to yourself with compassion and not criticism. And remember that you are enough already without anything else. And now is the time to believe it. If you liked this video, I think you would like another one that I have called How to Stop Self-Doubt and Silence Your Inner Critic, linked above. Thanks for watching today, guys. I hope that you have a wonderful day, and remember to stay mindful.